Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen here with Linda Armstrong and Rita Gigante. Today is Friday, April the 3rd, 2020. It's 4 p.m. New York time. And wherever you are in the world, thanks for joining us for another episode of LOA Today, your daily dose of happy. And we're really happy. Rita's decided to come back and keep coming back. We didn't drive you away the first time. We must have done something wrong. That's all I can figure.
No, it was awesome. It was awesome to connect with you guys and everybody else. And I got some really good feedback from it. So I think, you don't fix something if it's not broken. So
no kidding. Yeah.
Keep going.
Well, we're glad to have you. This is great. We haven't had 3 on Friday it's been a while. When was the last time Carlos was on, Linda? I mean, it's like months and months ago. I can't remember.
Oh, that's like a year ago, I think.
Yeah, a year ago. Yeah. So it's been a while since we had 3 on Friday, but this is good. I mean, because we have 3 on other shows too. So to have 3 here, and especially somebody like you, Rita, because I mean, you have so much interesting experience that you bring to it, and your psychic skills and so forth. I mean, you bring a lot to the table. So we are honored to have you here. Thank you very much.
No, honored to be here. Absolutely.
And you and Linda were talking during the week about what to do for today's show. And not surprisingly, what you guys talked about is exactly what we've been doing with the other episodes. We're going to continue a really good trend of focusing on what's it going to take to stay connected during all this craziness, and how can we find what's the silver lining whenever we're looking at dark clouds, and what's involved in actually maintaining that high vibration. That's what we're going to be talking about, different strategies and so forth. So since you guys were kind of kicking it around, I'm going to kind of shut up here and let you guys talk for a little bit. So Linda, I'm going to go to you first.
Okay.
Get the conversation started. Tell us where we're going to get going with it.
Well, I mean, it all gets back to how we each make our own reality, right? So we could either choose to go into fear, and sometimes you think that you're not choosing it, it's just overtaking you, but truly everything is your choice. So when you can feel yourself going down into those lower vibrations, that fearful, worrisome vibration, you can pretty much do anything that makes you happy. You can meditate if you're a meditator, and just really tune in and tap into that energy and that feeling of the truth, and that everything is love and we are always protected, even though the outside reality doesn't seem to show it. You can turn on the TV and watch some funny movies. I mean, I found this guy, Rita, I was going to send him to you. Maybe you know him. It's Rodia Comedy. It's this Italian guy.
Oh my God.
Doesn't he crack you up?
He cracks.
We're Italian, right? Rita's Italian. I'm Italian, even though my last name doesn't reflect it. And I tell you, it just reminds me so much of people in my family that it cracks me up.
Oh God.
So, and there's a 2-minute clips. I'm telling you, your mood can shift watching a 2-minute funny clip. And then you remember, oh, okay, I have this inside of me too.
Right.
So I'll just start simple like that. Let Rita take over.
Every morning I start with the funny stuff, because I really feel like that's how you should begin your day. Lighten the mood, bring levity to the table. And what's his name? Sebastian Maniscalco is hysterical. If anybody wants to watch some of his clips, he is great. So I agree 100% with what you're saying. I think people don't realize how much they are in control of their own happiness, in control of their whole day. We're getting an opportunity at this point because, really Spirit's just asking us to be. We are such doers in this world. We don't know how to just be. And so I think it's so important that we take this time now, however long that is, and it's not going to be forever, but take the time now, because when it's gone, we're going to miss it. Right?
It's true.
How many people say, I never get a chance to read. I never get a chance to do this or that or the other thing. Now you have a great chance to do that.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely true.
Think, when you start your day with those, whether it's a video, you're listening to something funny, you can't beat that. It lightens the mood immediately. And, I thought about it this afternoon. I'm like, I haven't listened to really good music, like music back in the 70s and 80s, and, just turn it on, start dancing. Nobody's going to care. Nobody sees you,
Yeah, you're in quarantine, of course not.
Exactly. Yeah. Unless you feel like putting that on Facebook, by all means. So I think dancing is great to actually release nervous energy, anxiety, panic, just that kind of movement and feeling of the music, whatever makes you feel good is very with that. At least I find it is.
Oh, I agree with you. Absolutely.
Yeah, I like how Rita tapped in on that, because the body likes to move, you know? So
yeah,
you can do that. You can work out if you want. Put on somebody's YouTube thing and just follow along, so you don't feel like you're by yourself. That's what I like to do. I like work out with some clip where these other people worked out maybe 2 years ago, but I'm watching it right now and doing it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, because there's no gyms anymore. So, you know, people are finding ways to move their body, even if it's stretching, you know, stretching is huge just to open up your energy channels, you know, your meridians. For people who don't know, you know, about that kind of stuff, acupuncture, when they do acupuncture on you, they work on your meridians. And just by stretching, you can open up those meridians, again, releasing, you know, any kind of lower vibrational energies or energies that are stuck in your body that, you know, that come from fear, you know, and people, there are some people out there saying, oh, I'm so bored. I'm so bored. My God, I am like eating up all the books that I haven't been able to read, you know, the music and the going online and doing stuff online that, you know, you want to be able to get a chance to catch up on. And I haven't been able to, because I'm constantly doing. And the being piece of this is the most important part that people need to understand. We need to really get a hold on that.
You're right. It's a great opportunity. And like you said, I mean, we always say it, well, geez, I wish I had more time to read. I wish I had more time to do this at home and so forth. Well, we got the time. No more excuses. The excuses are gone at this point.
So true.
Yeah. By the way, you guys were also mentioning the idea of doing stuff like watching something funny or whatever to start the day. And I really wanted to hammer that one home, because it's amazing how just 1 or 2 minutes focusing on something to lift your mood at the beginning of the day sets the tone for the rest of the day.
Yes.
That first few minutes that you're awake are huge for what's going to happen the rest of the day. And it doesn't take long. I mean, I have like an 8-minute video that I watch. That's long for most people, you know?
Right. Yeah. And that's the other thing. And that's sad. Like 8 minutes is like nothing when you're engrossed in something. But for a lot of people, you know, like, you know, I'm hearing like on, what do you call it? Everything is fast, even on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or something. Everything is like, has to be 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Nobody can hold for longer than like a couple of minutes. And I'm like, wait a second, you know, we really need to hone in on that and say, I really need to like take it down a notch and be able to sit for longer than just a minute and then have to get up and do something. Doing isn't always, and also if you're not being, you can't hear your higher self. You can't hear spirit speak to you. You can't hear anything other than what's grappling in your mind over and over again. You know, and the thoughts are always going to be there. Your thoughts are always going to be, you got a million thoughts a day. It's taking the time to release the thoughts and just being with your own energy, or even someone you love in your home, being together in that energy. You know, when you really like first meet somebody and you're enamored by them and you know, you're loving their energy, and you can go for minutes without talking and nobody misses a beat.
Right.
You're in that. So I think it's important to connect to that.
I think so too. By the way, I had to let you know that there's somebody in the live stream who knows you, has left a message. Donna McDean, I think it is McDine.
Oh, Donna McDine, yes, she's so.
She's with us right now. I see her.
She's right here. Yeah, she's also on the Zoom platform, but she wrote a message saying Rita has been and continues to be instrumental in my outlook on life. And she says, thank you with a big heart. So
I love her. She is one of my dear friends, and she only lives up the block from me.
Oh, okay.
And, I said to her, hook in today, listen to the show. It's going to be good, uplifting. You know?
She took your advice. She's hooked into YouTube. She's hooked into Zoom. She's hooked in everywhere. I mean, she's totally hooked in.
Yeah, she's hooked into spirit.
She's hooked into spirit. That's right.
You know, I wanted to mention, I don't know if I said it last week or if it's just on the last video I made that I put on YouTube, but I found the first week, and you know, I do this kind of work. I think I know how to manage my energy and all that. And, but the first week I found I was like so edgy, and it was that energy of having to get things done. But meanwhile, I had no like time constraints on me, but I had that energy and it was coming in super strong. I'm like, oh my God. And it took me days to realize that I was just processing. This is my time to process that energy.
Yes.
So that I don't live my life from that. Like and some people, I know some people are going through processing all of their lower vibrations around being alone because they don't have this connection with people outside. They might be alone in their home. I have, some clients that are going through that kind of thing. And that's what's coming up for them. So for each of us, there might be something that's being triggered that's putting us, besides the fear, okay, that's like a constant that we always get triggered into. But see if you can notice what things come up for you and ask yourself, like, okay, what does this feel like? Where have I felt this before? What is this? Because I have to tell you, I know how to do this. It took me a couple of days before I realized I was being controlled by that energy of, I have to get it done. There's not enough time in a day, blah, 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 that kind of a thing.
Yeah, but I also think that you're right. They need to ask where it's coming from because it could be very old, like from a childhood experience, like from someone who, they had an experience with, and it's coming up for them now for them to look at, and they have the time to look at it, not to be afraid of it, to reach out to somebody like you or me or whoever they're connected to, and to help work it through with them if they're not sure how to do that. And it's so, crucial. We're getting such a huge opportunity to clear, all old stuff. And I think people, the one thing I'm grateful for is that I like my alone time. I love people and I love to be in the midst of people, but I enjoy my alone time. But for people who don't understand that feeling, this is a very hard time. So, but where does that come from? That feeling of not wanting to be alone. So we got to look at the underlying piece of it to know, how to move through it, So it's one thing to move through something, and it's another thing to move through and then like learn from it and be able to remedy it in the process.
So we were talking about reading before, and Josephine in the live stream asked a question about a book that she's read. She wants to know if any of us have read it. I don't recognize the title myself, but I'll run it by you guys just to see if you know. She says, have you read Spiritual Partnerships by Gary Zukov and Linda Francis? He talks about the spiritual symbolism of Mount Shasta and the adjoining summit Shastina. But,
Gary Zukov wrote Seed of the Soul, right? What was his book? I have it in here. I haven't read, I don't know that one, but I'm going to see, I'm going to go to my Audible.
Well, she says that Shasta and Mount Rainier reveal the magnitude of this range and the unseen global dynamics that created them in the same way circumstances and events that appear to be unrelated to the five senses.
Wow.
Perceptions are not. The non-physical dynamics that connect and generate them, like most of the Cascade Range, are invisible, according to Gary.
Yeah, I know a couple of healers that are out there in Mount Shasta. It's I also believe there's a portal out there that can be utilized. So, and there's portals everywhere that Spirit's using for us at this moment to help us through this crisis. There was one other thing I wanted to bring up with the reading piece of it. Has anybody read Believing as if the God in all of us mattered?
No.
Yeah, it's fabulous. It's a fabulous book. And it talks about Mother Earth and this woman, how she connects to Mother Earth. And she was been through tragic things as a child, but has come full circle. I've actually been to her farm in Virginia. It's called Paralandra. Fabulous if anybody is interested in reading.
I've heard about that.
Yes. She has, a life story, an unbelievable life story, how she came through it, but how she connects to the elementals, the divas, the gnomes, the fairies, all of that. And I think right now it's really important to connect to that energy based on what's going on around the earth. We're seeing not just what's going on with the pandemic, but there was I believe an earthquake recently in Utah. And so we're going to have more of these events. And so the more you can connect to Mother Earth and send her loving energy, the easier things are going to get.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Rita, I can't even say that word. I have to see it in front of me. Paralandria, whatever that word is.
Yeah, Paralandra.
Does she also, has she written books or something? And she also refers to the Council of 12. Is that the same person?
I want to say yes.
Okay.
I read it so long ago, but twice it came up today, and I felt like I needed to mention it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly, but I'll go back and check if you'd like.
I may even have that book because I know another psychic recommended it to my husband a while ago. And
Yeah.
I just don't remember much about it at the moment, but I
Yeah.
remember it was quite special. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's extraordinary. So I urge people, if you're, feeling that, fantastic. Donna McDine had asked a question. It came up on here for me. I don't know if you guys can read it because I can't see it anymore.
Yeah, actually, I
Oh.
saw it, and I've been texting with her and asking her, did she want to come onto the show to ask? And she said she'd like to. So I
Go
want to
ahead.
invite her onto the
Come on.
show if that sounds okay to you. So, all
Yeah.
right.
Well,
Donna,
thanks
are you
so much,
there?
Walt. Yes, thank you so much, Walt. How's everything?
We're
Hey,
fine.
there she is.
Yeah. So I was wondering about when you're meditating and then to journal after you meditate as to what your experience was. Does it help working through our feelings and our vibrations and trying to calm down our own anxieties, especially today with the turbulent times?
Yeah. Does anybody want to speak to that? Or
I'm sorry, I was a little distracted. You're talking about journaling your feeling. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If I heard what you said correctly.
Yep. I think
You can
everybody
release a lot of energy just as you're writing it down. You're blowing off energy because really energy just wants to be seen. So you're looking at it as you're writing it, and it does help to process that so it can be lifted. So you don't have to keep returning back to it,
Yeah. And Donna, I think it's crucial for people to know that when they write, not type, or not on a computer or anything, but when they write, their hand, their arm, their shoulder, all connected to the heart chakra. So whatever they're writing physically gets released out of the heart. So if there's any anguish or pain or, grief or anything like that, it's being released. So absolutely. Even if you didn't meditate and you just wanted to write, you could just write how you feel. And every day you should get up and do that and just release.
Excellent. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll add a little bit more to that journaling thing because one of my energy mastery courses talked about, we called it the wisdom journal, where you just write. It's just a mind dump. Nothing has to make any sense. It's like whatever thought comes in your head, you write it down. And I know I did this one time because I didn't know what was going on. I had all this energy that I thought I cleared the day before, and it shows up again the next day. And I had all this randomity going on in my house, my husband, my son, my dogs. And I thought the cleaning ladies were here. I thought I was going to explode. So I just took that journal like out of frustration. Okay, this wisdom journal is supposed to work. I'm just took it, went out on my deck, right? And I start writing. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to write this because they say it works. I don't know. It could be a bunch of bullshit. Then my tears are dropping on my page, right? So I'm like, oh, look, now the tears are falling. And then I thought, I just decided to give it a chance. And I just started writing whatever came in my head. And nothing made any sense. But I'd wind up writing something. And I'm like, I could feel a shift, right? And then I wrote another thing, didn't have anything to do with the first thing. And then I'm in between, I'm hungry. Like you just write whatever. Oh, nice day out here today. Just writing, okay, just a mind dump. Yeah. I blew all that energy. I was like a little kid jumping up and down. I looked up and I saw like the tiniest leaves on the furthest bushes out in my yard. I'm like, oh my God, this thing works. Like I have totally shifted and dumped energy, which I don't even know what it was because nothing I wrote made sense.
Right.
Nothing made sense.
Although interestingly enough, if you stick with it long enough, it can start to make a lot of sense, which is, and it's just coming out. You're not pre-processing it or any way. Versus Tom Wells, who used to be a co-host here on the show, is very much into this, calls it automatic writing. And he just journals and journals and journals. He's not thinking about any of it. And then he goes back and reads it later on. And he says, wow, I wrote that? Really? He's blown away by what he wrote. And
then you're getting into channeling, which is great.
Yep.
So that's channeling information and great things that can lift you up. But what I was talking about before was really just dumping the energy, not trying to make sense of it, not trying to figure out who did it to you, how it happened, when did this occur. It's just letting it go. You're looking at it, you're writing it down, going through that motion, and it really just releases it. So I can't say I do it all the time. I could be really lazy like that, but I know it works.
I can't even my writing when I do it. I'm writing so fast. Don't even. But Donna does a lot of automatic writing. She's
Oh, she
fabulous.
does. Okay, so she knows about that then.
She does. So I think it. Thank you for bringing that to the table, Donna.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
very welcome.
Yeah,
Well,
that was.
I'm
Yeah,
curious if
that
you
was
if
really
you care to
helpful.
share, Donna. I mean, are there any particular insights or whatever that came to you from doing that kind of writing that kind of surprised you, or you were amazed that you even wrote it? And you said, "Where did that come from?"
What's really neat is what I discovered, because I write for children as well. But when I really started letting myself to be free with my writing, with my journaling, I started to realize that when I was actually channeling information, because when I went back, if I wrote down a question, something that was bothering me, it was in my words. But then when I went back after spirit or the universe is responding to me, it's not in the language that the wording that I would normally use. So it
Right.
was very distinct that my question was being asked by me, but then the response was coming from
Yeah.
a higher power. So that's been very interesting. And I actually highlight that in my journal. So if I ever want to refer back to it, I can find it easily.
Kind of like what Neil Donald Walsh did when he wrote his
I
book.
was just going to say that. Exactly.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's fabulous.
Yeah.
It really is.
Conversations with God. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So we should actually be asking you. I mean, do you recommend it to other people? I mean, do you recommend doing regular journaling and even getting into the automatic writing to other people, Donna?
I actually do. And it's something that people that would normally not come to me for advice, that's starting to change now, where they actually want to hear what I have to say because they see the changes in me outwardly and they want to know more about it.
Yeah,
So
Right.
that's
I
cool.
do recommend it to people. It's a good release.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
You know,
good.
and I love what Donna just said about the changes within her. People start noticing, because a lot of people are like, how do I share this? How do I get people to want to wake up? Just by being yourself
That's
and
it.
going, and yeah, exactly what she just said. So as she's going through these changes and you know, awakening her and evolving into more of the truth of who she really is, other people want to know.
Mm-hmm. It's cool. It's a phenomenon I know well just from doing this podcast, because when
Oh,
I
yeah.
started off, I didn't have any listeners at all. And
Mhm.
they just kind of kept showing up, which is pretty cool. It's fun when that happens.
Yeah, and it's about energy being drawn to you. Like,
Yeah.
people will resonate with that energy and be drawn to you.
Mhm.
And that's how it works. There's enough work to go around for everyone.
No kidding.
Yeah. So there are people that I refer out to Donna. Maybe Donna will refer to me. She's an excellent Reiki practitioner and she teaches.
Ah,
So she's fabulous. And so, it's as you do your work, it shows and people go, I want some of that. How do I get that?
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's fabulous.
This stuff is magnetic. It truly
It
is.
is. Very much.
People stick to you. Stoop. Oh, there's another one stuck to you again.
I mean, everything's magnetic, isn't it? It's all energy.
Yeah.
So let's shift a little bit over to what's going on now with the pandemic. That's always a topic of conversation. But you guys had an interesting point that you made in the exchange that Linda related to me in the email she sent me, talking about how this is part of a larger shift going on. And this is a topic Linda and I have talked about a lot, but I'd like to hear your take on that too, Rita, about what is the shift that's going on? What's your perception of it?
Yeah. So we get these huge opportunities from spirit to shift the vibration of the earth. We've over the years, we have destroyed Mother Earth in many ways, between pollution, pesticides, herbicides, the waters are being contaminated. You name it. We've done some, things that now need to be cleared, right? So the pandemic is part of helping us to become the collective consciousness that we forgot that we were. And and that's what I mean by that is we are all one here. Like people think we're separate and we're not. So in other words, whatever happens in China, right? Or whatever happens in Russia or whatever happens around the world is going to affect all of us. Whatever actions happen there reverberate around the world. We don't, it's not that we don't feel it. We just, it's, we may not feel a big like bang so that we know it's there, but there's subtle shifts in energy when we either create something here or they create something there. We're all one, we're all connected. So we have to be really mindful of how we conduct our lives here. Do we want to do it at a higher vibration or a lower vibration? So we've had opportunities before to clear, right? 9/11 was another opportunity, right? Devastation like that wakes up the people and says, we need change.
It does. Yeah, it
We need
did.
change. How are we going to do this? We need more compassion in the world. We need more love in the world. We need to be a society that works together, not separately. We need to know that we're all equal, and we need the harmony of this world again, the way it used to be. And so, you know, we did some great things at that moment in 2011. In 2012, we agreed as a collective consciousness that we wanted to move up in vibration, move up in consciousness. When we made that agreement, the earth says, well, we can't stay the way it is, right? Because it's too dense here. It's too dense. Too many negative things are going on. We got to shift this somehow. So there are people around the world doing that, all over the world, right? But there has to be enough of the consciousness to shift to make it permanent. We haven't reached that yet. So we're getting an opportunity here with the pandemic for our energies to move up in vibration, to reconnect with each other, not just through, right now we have to do it through phone and this and that, but face to face, connect with somebody more face to face, have family gatherings more. You know, I'm not political. Again, I'm going to say it. I don't know enough about it. I know enough about energy, though, to know that we need to clear that energy out to bring more positiveness to in the government, in the world. There's so many things that need to shift. Our oceans alone are filled with plastic. You know, the fish are getting affected by that. Our animals are being affected by all of this stuff. So the pandemic is just an opportunity for us to raise our vibration. And we in this moment, we're either going to choose love or we're going to choose fear to do it, right? We could run around crazy and, you know, make ourselves nuts over it, or we could do something right from our home at this point to bring more positive energy to it. Praying alone, just a small prayer in gratitude will shift the energy. Now take, you know, 10,000 people doing that same prayer and let that reverberate around the earth a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we create it. Now we can recreate something else.
Yeah.
To make it better.
And this energy of, there's a lot of energy of compassion going around for those who are being affected physically by the actual virus, let alone all the businesses and everything else shutting down. But in what we're talking about now too, this energy of love and this in the collective consciousness. So one way people can start to do that, and it's something I've been working on a lot with people, is realize when you're in judgment of anything, of yourself, of other people, because that judgment keeps you from being in that energy of love. So rather move out of judgment and more into compassion or allowance that, okay, I don't have to understand why that person is the way they are or why that happened, because you can never really know. But you can send compassion and love to whatever that is. So rather than judge that person, say, you know what, there's a lot of things about me people could judge negatively as well too, right? So I'd rather choose to look at it from a bigger lens. No? Yeah.
Absolutely. The judgment is huge, right? That's even with automatic writing. When Spirit had me first do that, I was judging how I was writing it. You know,
I
don't think I'm doing this right. And I hear in my head, no periods, there's no commas, there's no question marks, there's nothing. You just keep writing. Like that's what I heard in my head when I was judging myself. And it became clear, like, holy shit, yeah, that's not good. I need to, and again, I'm judging, right? Because I'm saying that's not good. So it's a vicious cycle. But you can't, once you recognize it, right? Once anybody becomes aware, then at least they can take the steps to remedy that. But I think judgment piece is huge.
Yeah. And also sometimes it's hard to because self-judgment is probably the biggest, but we don't always see that because we're so used to doing it. But when you open your awareness to noticing when you're judging, I remember one time we were on a show, Walt and I, right? And I'm like, no, I've released judgment. Boom, I heard smack in my head. Oh, really? What about 3 days ago when you were judging so-and-so, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember that, Walt? I'm like,
I do remember that. That was funny.
I didn't release judgment. I was just reminded about how easily I went into judgment about something a couple of days ago.
Personally, I thought you did very well because it was a few days ago. For me, it could be like 2 hours ago. So I thought you were doing really well myself.
Yeah.
Well, but the hardest thing is to see how much we judge ourselves like that, because you're so used to it. It's like normal, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. And it shouldn't be the norm, right?
Right.
But when you stop judging yourself, you stop judging others. That's the bottom line. That's
an interesting thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, and that I think is where the great power really is lying, because we can all think of examples of people who, for lack of a better way of describing it, I'll say they actually prefer and choose to live in the lower vibration because they defend it so vehemently. They'll find all kinds of ways to defend why I have to be in this low vibration place.
Right. But those are people who are not ready to move from being a victim, from being a martyr, from saying, oh, woe is me. Why is this happening to me? I don't really want to take control, but why is this happening? Somebody else do it for me.
Yeah.
And you can't, there is nobody else to do it. You have to do it, So
what we end up with is a population that is widely variant. I mean, some people high vibration, some people low vibration, medium low, medium high, all over the place.
Right.
It's more, it's not as homogenous as we like to think that, it's all high vibration or all low vibration. It's a mixture.
Well, thank God, because we'd be in a world of shit if it wasn't. Right? We need that balance. So I'm saying, like, it's like, okay, so the more people that get into that higher vibration, the more the others that are in the middle are going to come up. They're just going to come up. They're going to come up in vibration because they're going to love that energy. They're going to be drawn to it. So, the more you work on yourself and the more you raise your vibration, the more the people around you, their vibration goes up. So families can affect each other instantly. Mm-hmm. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
For those who
I've seen changes with my mom just by me changing.
Right.
And also by me not judging her for whatever it is. It's just how she was raised,
Exactly.
But I didn't actively do anything. I didn't run processes on her, nothing like that. She just, that's how it is. I mean, energy can only influence. We can only influence through our own energy, and others can choose to allow it in.
Right.
And shift without even knowing they're shifting. But it's almost like the higher power, their soul, their higher self is able to latch on to these changes and incorporate them within themselves.
Yeah. When people can let go of the fear, and I know it's hard. I do. I've been there. I know. And there are times where I'm there, still. When you can release that and allow other energy to come in, you see the shift immediately. And gratitude is probably one of the quickest ways to get there. I don't know why. I just know that as Spirit has brought that to me. I've used it on millions of occasions, and it's taken me out of the fear and into that place of love again. So, Donna, is Donna still with us?
She's listening on the live stream, but she jumped off of Zoom, so she's not on the Zoom platform right now.
Gotcha. Okay.
But, feel free.
You can ask her a question, because if she's still there on YouTube, she can answer.
Absolutely.
Oh, no, I was just wondering if she had anything to add. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Well,
I didn't want to leave her out if she was still with us.
Oh,
yeah.
Kindness personified right there.
Right.
Linda, a few moments ago, was mentioning, I don't remember the exact comment, but the gist of it was that there are still people who are in that low vibration place, and there are experiences going on in that low vibration place. And it seems like nothing ever changes there. And I wanted to kind of touch on that theme a little bit longer because that does seem to happen. I mean, anybody, well, first of all, we recommend don't watch the news. But for those people who do watch the news, that seems to be like the ongoing thing, especially with COVID-19. It's just one continuous blanket coverage of negativity going on. And it seems like it doesn't change. So, well, how much effect are we really having? I mean, is it really doing us any good to have a minority of us, even 10,000 of us, focusing on saying that prayer or whatever? How do you answer that?
Linda, do you want to speak to that or?
No, go ahead. You got a thought?
Okay. So my advice to everybody that it's been my advice all along, try not to listen to the news because they're not telling you the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
No kidding.
You're going to get find news that you think you can trust, which I don't know where it is. But, I go to who I go to my news team is Spirit. So I type in and I go, okay, tell me what's really happening. Because I could listen to that news for 15 minutes and I am all of a sudden my energy is everywhere. Like I'm like the Energizer Bunny, like zing, zing, zing all over the house. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. My anxiety just kicked up. What's going on? Well, even if it's in the background and I'm hearing it, but I'm not sitting watching it, my picks it up immediately. So I tell everybody, try not to, try to connect to someone that might have a better outlook or view or more of a positive thing for this than the negative. I'm not saying to shut your eyes and say this isn't happening. It's not what I'm saying. Yes, it's happening. But what can we do to help? What can we do to minimize the fear? If we're going to continue to watch the news, you're only going to create more fear.
Right. So I would say that what you're doing then is you're just giving your power away.
Yep.
Right. To everything outside of you. When you want to tap in with what feels right to you. For me, for Rita, probably even for Walt, we've been working with this kind of thing. It's a little easier for us to kind of tune into spirit. Some people don't know how to do that. But if you start to recognize that if you're looking at everything outside of you and not thinking you know enough to know what's right for you, because I know it's almost like I could hear some of my older Italian relatives, like they give their power away to every doctor, they think all those, because maybe they didn't finish school or whatever it was, that they're not smart enough, that they have to look at these professionals, so-called, right, to give them the information. So you're giving your power away. So tuning back into yourself, one way, and the way I find really works for anybody, is a truth will always make you feel lighter. Something that's false makes you feel heavier. So you're listening to all that news out there. Now, okay, there might be some truth within it, but overall it's putting you into fear. And that feels heavy because your truth is I am love and I am protected because Spirit's always protecting me. So one way to maybe reach that place of trusting that, and I lost it, I just had it.
Don't you love
hate when that happens?
Happens to me about 5 times a week, so I understand.
Okay, so one way of that is to I'll tell you when it comes back to me. Oh my God, that's why I write myself some notes.
Give yourself a moment there just to recollect and it'll come back to you. While you're doing that, I'll say something, then that'll cue something in your mind and it'll come back. I had actually asked that question knowing that I had an answer for it, which I like to do. That way, in case the other person's stumped, I can actually say something. But for me, I've developed a little concept that I call keeping score, because that's what that really is keeping score. It's tracking to see, well, has that manifestation happened yet? Well, okay, no, I've been doing my meditation and I'm really working on, okay, has it happened yet? And you could drive yourself crazy doing that because first of all, the fact that you're asking the question means you don't have it yet. So you're coming from a vibrational lack place saying, I don't have this thing yet. Do I have it yet? When I realize that that's what I'm doing, then I say to myself, oh, well, just stop keeping score. I don't have to keep score. There's no need to keep score.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, people, not watching the news is a good thing, but also if you want to learn how to connect to yourself, you're going to have to, learn how to breathe, learn how to, close your eyes for a second, even if it's 10 seconds. And you want to know how to have a conversation, just like we're doing right now. I talk to Spirit all day long like this. I'm talking to You know, Bobby will be in the kitchen. I'll be in my bedroom. I'll be talking. She'll go, who are you talking to? Spirit. Just having a conversation. She'll do the same thing, you know, and that's how you connect. I know what people are looking for. They're looking for, is somebody going to answer me? And then if someone answers me, holy shit, what do I do with that? You know, and it's going to scare them because they're going to get another voice. And then, you know, so it's not always another voice. It can be your voice, but you'll know the difference because the vibration is different. Okay. So talk to spirit, just talk to them like we're talking. I find the most answers when I'm having this conversation because they're very, I don't know if we said it last time, they're very funny. Spirit is very fun. They have no problem cracking jokes and making fun of each other either because there's no ego. So it actually helped me not to judge myself by working with them that way. You know, they would crack a joke about me, like things that I would do that they laugh at. And then I would laugh at myself and go, you know what? That is so funny now that I look at it like that, you know? So I don't know if that helped you, Linda. Did I help you remember?
Yeah, because it reminded me.
Before you do that, I just want to do a little sideline here. Interesting sideline. Abraham Hicks was asked the question, why don't you ever laugh?
Yeah.
Because you're constantly making us laugh, but you never laugh. And their answer was, well, laughter and humor is based on the element of surprise. We're never surprised.
Good answer.
Good answer. That was good.
Yeah, I was going to say one way to find it, like to find what feels lighter for you, so you can maybe connect more to your truth, is to ask questions. Like then Rita was talking about talking to spirit.
Yeah.
And even if you don't, well, she's a psychic. She knows how to do that. No, anybody can do that.
That's right.
And you don't have to even expect an answer right then. You just ask questions like, okay, what is there that can be good that can come from all of this? You know, what things can I actually find to be grateful for? Oh, I get to spend more time with my family that I'm always busy working. You know, you can look for different things by asking questions, but also not having to know the answer, because then we get stuck in the mind. And if the mind is only influenced by those outside voices, then you're right back on that ride again, right? So why not? What the heck? Ask a bunch of questions. How can this be good? How can this be allowing me to move further on my path, or to even know what my true path is? Like, just ask questions, because even in asking the questions, you start to lose the fear, because now your mind's being creative and you're like, oh, what could be another question I could ask?
Right. I agree. I think spirit loves when we're inquisitive, because then we're like a child. You know, all children have a million questions, right? They want to know everything. So when we get into that place with them, they're like, oh, goody, the child is back. You don't have to deal with the ego. You know, you don't have to deal with the adult. We're dealing with the true essence of who they are. So connect to that.
I don't know who is beeping. I thought it was my battery for a minute, but it isn't.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
It was a feedback loop. I'm not sure where it was coming from, but.
Yeah, I don't know if I heard everything Rita just said, because your volume went down. Did you?
I heard pieces of it, but if you could repeat it again, Rita, that would be really helpful. Oh,
we can't hear you at all.
No microphone from her.
We lost your mic.
Oh,
that's
no.
what it was. Somehow we lost Rita's mic. Can you hear us? Can't hear you. Oh, I heard her.
It's
See,
like
Rita?
her microphone is still connected. It's like the volume on the mic went down to 0.
Oh, is it resting on? Is the microphone being blocked by something?
No, I'm still in the same position I was.
Oh,
We
now
can
you're
hear
coming
you now.
back.
Yeah,
good. She's back.
Maybe the phone fell into the drink or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's
so
right.
Interesting times, you know, and there's got to be a purpose to it all, right? So I like to look at what good things can come from all of this. I mean, a lot of people learning how to do their business differently.
Oh,
There's probably going to be a lot of new businesses coming out of this through the experience, or maybe even just in having the downtime, you start doing something you really love. It starts to light you up with this energy of joy because you're doing something you love, like maybe it's a crafty thing or who knows what. And somehow that develops into a whole new way of living, a whole new way of creating money, or whatever that might be for you.
Mm-hmm. Whoops.
Uh-oh.
We lost your voice again, Rita.
We lost your voice, Rita.
Not sure what's happening there.
That's weird.
Well,
Oh, you know
maybe,
what? Maybe
what?
Rita should go off and come back on again.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Try that.
Try disconnecting and reconnecting. See if that makes a difference.
Okay.
Oh, barely heard her.
Just a little
That's
tiny.
weird. Okay, well, hopefully
I
we
think it's
can
probably
hear
more of a
Rita
mic.
again.
There's probably a mic volume issue there going on somewhere on the phone. But if you
Yeah,
can find that, that's probably where the clue is. Where is that volume on the phone?
I got it, but
Oh,
Oh, that's a
that's
little bit better.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot
yeah.
better.
Okay.
Okay, you were just going to start saying something. Do you remember what it was?
What did you say first? And then I'll remember. This is not good.
Never remember. Oh yeah, people finding whole new ways of living and creating money
Oh,
and being.
Yeah, I really feel like there are going to be people that decide that, they're not going back to their 9 to 5 job anymore. And,
Sure.
they're going to create a different life for themselves. A lot's going to come out of this that's positive. It really will. And I know people are petrified of the stock market right now, which I feel will remedy itself when this gets further along. And, I really feel my intuition from what I've been reading and from spirit tells me by July where April's probably going to be the hardest. And then May it's going to start to slow down. June much better, but then done by July it feels like to me.
That sounds like a reasonable time frame to me too. Something I wanted to touch on that I think you said it, Rita, how people are they're on their own at home right now and they're kind of at loose ends and not sure what to do and they're bored and so forth. And I did like a double take when you said that because I have this programming project I've been working on since before the whole thing started that I mean, literally I put in like hours and hours of it every day. And so when you said, I said, really? People don't have anything to do. I got plenty to do. What's going on here? I don't understand. And then I realized, oh yeah, of course, not everybody's doing like kind of a project.
Well, right, but I'm sure there's something that everybody has that they've put to the side, maybe even a couple of things that they put to the side that now they can actually do.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
It's really just a question of getting onto that positive side, that good feeling side, because we have trouble remembering what the things are that we'd like to do when we're feeling down. So if you can make the shift first into a better feeling place, then you have the chance to, come up with whatever that idea is, depending on what your own interests are. But when you're in that bad place, it's hard to. You can't reach it. It's out of reach.
Right. And sometimes we get complacent, we get lazy, we can't get motivated, right? I love this book that I read called The 5-Second Rule. Whenever I'm like lazy or I can't get my ass up, I count 5 to 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I get my ass up after that and I do whatever I said I was going to do because and I keep that in my head all the time. It's like, I have to get something done or I should start something that I've put off for so long. And that to me triggers it, So reading is really good for getting other people's ideas of what has helped them that could potentially help you,
Yeah,
That's
sure.
why I love reading. And for me, I like reading a book. Like I know a lot of people go online and read like, they have their Kindles and stuff. For me, I like holding an actual book. So
You're old school.
Old school, baby. Yeah. Old school with a young attitude.
It's funny how many people, when the ebooks first came along, said, "Oh, well, I'll never do that. No way. I like holding a real book in my hands."
Right.
And then ebook sales took off and real book sales fell flat to the ground. I thought to myself, what happened to all those people? What are they doing? What are they buying? Are they buying the ebooks now? But I also agree with you. I think there's something substantial about holding a book in your hand, a real book in your hand, because it feels like a book. It doesn't feel like a phone or a tablet or something like that. And so you just kind of treat it different on like a subconscious level.
It definitely honors the person that's writing.
That too. Yeah.
It honors their work that they've finished and completed, it feels like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you could share it with somebody,
That's true.
I just picked a card while you guys were talking. I got first chakra, Archangel Michael.
Okay.
So I'm going to read what it says here in this book, and then maybe Rita wants to elaborate on it with her angel connection. And it seems like it's probably appropriate. So anyway, first chakra, stability and security. So this card says that Michael is holding a beautiful globe of red energy at the first chakra, which is located at the base of the spine. This is the place where your sense of stability and security is stored. When this card is upright, it reveals that your energy is flowing freely regarding these issues. Even if you've had problems with feeling secure in the past, these challenges are beginning to be resolved at this time. Interesting, right? Because a lot of people are feeling like major instability going on. But Archangel Michael is with you, bringing you strength and personal stability. You are capable of taking action and moving forward on your path. So allow yourself to feel increasing faith in your own power and security now and always, which we were kind of tapping on throughout this conversation with finding that inner power and see when it's right for you, taking action, following on those things. So what would Rita add to that?
I think everybody's first chakra is getting a wake-up call. I'm serious, because that is the chakra from, it's right from the tailbone down to your legs, feet.
So what you're saying is everybody's getting a kick in the butt. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's a wake-up call, because for the people who have an issue with this, the first chakra has to do with family, right? Familial ties. It has to do with how the family thinks and acts and is with each other and the outside world, and then your belief system, if it's different, if it's the same, it's, are you following the tribe or are you moving away from the tribe? So that's part of it. It has to do with money, security, having enough food, having enough, having shelter, the whole thing. So it's so appropriate to have that card show up right now, because everybody in the world is like running to the store like mad people and stocking up on thousands and thousands of things that, they may not need. But that it's that fear of, I don't have enough. It's that fear of, I'm not taken care of. It's that fear of, there's just instability here. What's happening? The world is falling apart, and it's not. It's actually just took a detour for us to learn a lesson, and let's look at it that way. And I think if everybody could focus on their first chakra, and the color is red. Okay, so if you every day or night or whenever you can, focus on the first chakra from the bottom of the spine, like where the coccyx bone is, right down your legs into your feet. Imagine the red flowing through there. And if you can't imagine red, think of an apple, because you could always think of a red apple. I don't know why people have, or a red car. People seem to be able to do that. And I think focusing on that energy will help to open it and clear it and give you the feeling, that stability that you're looking for. Now, Michael is the protector. He is, Archangel Michael is the protector of the angels. And so he's doing a lot of work right now to help us. But the greatest thing about angels, and everybody has them, like personal guardian angels. You have your, I call them my crew or my team. Everybody has a team that they work with in spirit. They can be in several places at one time. So a lot of people can call on Michael, and his energy can be in all those different places. And your team, as long as you tell them, I need help, because you have to give them permission to help you. Okay, they will not intervene because of free will. So if you say to them, I need help, you're going to get it. But it may not be the way you think you're going to get it, but it will be the best way, because you may not be able to see the best way in that moment. So I want everybody to know that you're never alone. There's always somebody there to help you. Always.
You know what, Rita, did you have a conversation with that person I sent to you who had this angel experience today?
That was a fabulous energy. Yes, I had a conversation with him today.
Okay, so this person asked, because he wasn't even sure he believes in angels. I'm just going to say real short, and maybe you can just elaborate without any detail, because it's somebody's personal. We don't have permission to talk about it. I'm sure we could get it, but we don't. So he learned that he just needs to ask, and he was in this pretty much desperate kind of feeling, and just pretty much blurted out, screaming and letting his frustration out, asking this angel for help. He got it. And he can't even wrap his head around the experience that he was having with this. And I'm like, and he listened to our show last week, and he asked me, he said, I got to get in touch with Rita. I'm like, oh yeah, you do.
Happened with this lovely energy. He surrendered. In that anger, he just said, fuck it, I'm giving up. I don't believe in this. I don't want to know. And he surrendered. And in the moment you surrender, your life changes instantaneously. It's the hardest thing to do for all of us, believe me. But he surrendered, and the angel was like, yeah, I'm right here. Like, you don't have to scream. Like, I get it. For him, he had to. For him, he had to let go. And for him to do it, he just had to get that crazy about it. And then he's boom, within 24 hours, not even within hours, his life was completely different. And I've had experience, so I understand it. He just needed to know, in my opinion, he just needed to know somebody else understood what he was going through. And I said, it's probably one of the most incredible things you can experience on this earth plane as a human. Because people think a lot of people who don't understand the spiritual and or the ethereal piece of this, they don't realize that we are a spiritual energy experiencing the physical body. A lot of people think it's the reverse, right? Well, we're physical first. No, we're spiritual always. We are energy always. That never goes away, even when you go into the other realms. So he's just experienced that. He comes, this gentleman comes from a background of, everything was physical for him. It was a big physical realm for him. He didn't understand past that. So, but what I love about him is he's like a kid right now. He's like opened up like a child, and now he can just experience with that energy, and he's loving it. Absolutely. Yeah.
Congratulations to him. That's fabulous when that happens.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying anybody can do it. Anybody. It doesn't matter. Like when people say, I don't understand, why did God choose me? God chose everybody. Chose everybody. Nobody's getting left out, and it's up to you if you want to experience it. Everybody has the same right and to experience all of this, not just me, you, and and the people that are on the show. Everyone has that right.
And how cool is that?
It's a blessing. My God, it's so cool. I can't.
Yeah.
How does it get any better than that?
It doesn't really.
It can always
By the
get
way,
better.
I want to make sure, while I still have a little time left, to remind people who are not yet subscribers to the show to become a subscriber. You can see, the content here is amazing every single day, Monday through Friday. And you can get it streaming right to your phones as we publish it every single day, just by going to the homepage of our website, loatoday.net. That's the easy way to do it. You click on the link at the top, it just walks you right through it. And just like that, boom, you're subscribed and you get all the shows coming. And also, we're getting more and more people doing this. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube as well, because then you can actually see us. You can see Rita sitting back and just, putting all of these brilliant ideas and so forth from her living room. You can see Linda in front of her angel wings on the wall. You can see me right currently. I've got Hawaii behind me in the background just to kind of pick our spirits up a bit. You can see us. And it's fun. And you can join us on the live stream if you're available at the 4:00 New York time slot. So yeah, become a subscriber, at least on the podcast. And also please consider doing it on the YouTube channel as well. You can, by the way, on YouTube, you do it by searching for LOA Today podcast videos, and we'll pop right up there. So, become subscribers. We love you. So awesome. With the last couple minutes that we have left to us, I want each of you to give like a final thought. We've been talking about how to maintain that high vibration, how to deal with the fact that there's so many changes going on during this pandemic. What's the one takeaway that each of you want people to remember as they walk away from the show today? I'll go to you, Linda, first.
Okay. I would just say, look for things that make you feel lighter, that make you feel better. If you have to, force yourself to do something that you enjoy or that makes you feel better. Even if it's just calling up a friend to chat, do something. Make the decision, first of all, that this is not what I choose. I'm going to choose something else. And then just explore. Be that little kid and find ways to go and spend, hours making a sandcastle, right? Just find something you enjoy doing and you'll shift right just like that.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep. I think I would say that I love what Linda said. I think finding a way to be connected, finding a way to be in your center, whatever makes you feel that way, whether it's dancing, singing, writing, reading, it doesn't matter what it is at this point. It's getting you there. And also feeding your soul, but feeding your body good, because I know a lot of people are like crazy right now going, I'm eating the house. Well, we do that because we're either afraid or we're happy. And the Italians do it for every reason. We just eat to eat. So, but if you could feed, think about feeding your body what it needs, ask your body what it needs, ask your soul what it needs that day. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's fun,
That's true.
just keep up the fun. That's what I think.
Absolutely.
And know that you have the power to do that. Don't give your power away, like Linda said. Know that you're in charge, nobody else. And I think it would be good, Walt. I think it would be good for people. I don't know how you feel about this, but maybe people can give us some ideas of what they would like to hear on the show.
Yeah.
And we could take that topic and run with it,
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, we always love getting contact from listeners, but we especially invite you to come in with suggestions. What do you want us to talk about on the show? It's a lot of fun when we get those kinds of emails and Facebook contacts and Twitter and YouTube and so forth. Use whatever method you want. If you want to send an email directly to me, my email is walt@lowaytoday.net. But whatever way, send something to Rita, to Linda, through the YouTube channel, anything. Just find a way to send a message to us, and we will be glad to include you on the show and include your topic because hey, we love our listeners. We just plain love our listeners. That's all there is to it.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Thank you, guys, and sending everybody love and light and peace.
I want to pile on to what you guys said because I thought you guys really summed it up nicely. I just want to add one little thought that I didn't really bring up during this show, but I'd like to remember, and that is, it isn't that we have to make big changes all at once. We can make little changes. We can micro shift, as my friend Daniel Mangano likes to talk about it. And it comes down to just one thing. Pick one thing that would make you feel a little bit better right now. If you can find one thing that would make you feel a little bit better right now, and then go do that, and then find something that makes you feel a little bit better than that, and then a little bit better than that. And you just walk it along. So thank you, Rita. Thank you, Linda. This has been great as usual. Thank you, live streamers.
Thank you, Linda. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you to our podcast listeners as well. We'll see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.